This probably is the beginner bike. This is the 2024 Kawasaki Ninja 500, and I put 1,000 miles on this bike. These are my thoughts on this bike, whether it's a good beginner bike or if it's a good all-around bike, if you're going to keep it for a while. Should you buy it? Should you not? But first, before we do anything, I do need to get gas, so that's what we're going to do. So it does have an exhaust on it. It's an Aero GT something. I don't know exactly what it is. It's like a $400 exhaust. It sounds a lot like a Ninja 650, to be honest with you. So this bike, it's not even my bike. It was just funny. It's actually my girlfriend's bike. This is her first bike. This was the bike that she wanted for learning on and everything else. Whenever we picked it up, I kind of asked her, well, are you gonna ride it to and from work? And she said no, she doesn't know how to ride it. So while she's learning how to ride it, I just kind of dailied it to and from work. I mean, it's a brand new bike. I'm definitely gonna daily it, you know what I mean? I just sold my CBR 600. So this is like the only bike that we have. And I put about 1,000 miles on it. It's at 916 miles right now. So I think I've put enough miles on it to kind of figure out, you know, whether I like it or not, whether I think it'd be a good bike for a beginner, you know, whatever. I've owned a handful of bikes in the past, and I think I'm well credited to make a video about something like this. Dude, these people are going so slow. The first thing we're gonna go over is how cheap it is to fill up on gas, because that's what we're about to go do right now. It literally costs like 10, 11 bucks to fill up. It gets really good gas mileage too. Whenever you go through this whole trip, there's so much stuff you could do. Okay, so my average is 52 miles per gallon. You can see your range and your miles per gallon you're getting right now. I mean, like when you're barely on it, I'm getting about 54 miles per gallon. So that's pretty average. Highway, it's a little bit different. I don't really know. I don't do highway very much, but we'll get more into that later on in the video. So this bike picks up pretty well, I think, in my opinion at least. For a new rider, I would 100% get a bike as like a new rider, 100%. I can tell you from personal experience, my girlfriend learning how to ride this bike has been the easiest thing, and I feel like if she started out on like a 600 or something, it just wouldn't be as easy. But I also think these things have the power to buy them and not outgrow them for a while. You know, like these are the type of bikes that you buy to learn on and then you keep for a while. Unlike the 400s and like the R3s, you buy those and learn how to ride them, and then you sell them 2 months later because they lack so much power. I only brought cash with me, so I'm gonna put 15 on this because this is super low. I've been running it with the gas light blinking for like a day now. Oh, I gotta figure out how to get my wallet out of my back pocket. Can I get 15 on pump 15? Alright, thank you. This bike looks so good, honestly. Like, just even looking at it at a gas pump, they look so good. This one's lowered a little bit. It's lowered a few inches. It has Soupy's lowering links on it. I can leave a link in the description below if you want to pick those up. So we stopped at 11. I really don't want to go back in. Alright, that's probably about as much as we're going to get in there. Oh, 1438. Looks like I don't have to go back in. Alright, let's do some main road riding and see how well we keep up with traffic and everything. There's not a whole awful lot of pros, and there's really not a whole awful lot of cons either. This is a very well put together, well balanced bike all around, to be honest. Especially like with price and everything. I mean, like, this bike is honestly probably almost perfect. I haven't even seen the top speed on this bike yet. If I had to guess, just from doing highway riding and being in 6th gear with more RPMs left, I'd have to imagine somewhere around 115, 120, and I'm about 130 pounds, so do your own math on that one. Alright, so it's pretty cheap to fill up. And these bikes are already low as they come. I mean, we lowered it even more, but my girlfriend, she's 5'2", I believe, and she was able to pretty much tiptoe it straight from the factory, which is not bad at all. If you're, I see a lot of girls buying these bikes. If you're like 5'2", and you're just a small person, these bikes would be perfect for you because you can lower them. I mean, she flat foots it now because it's lowered, and it's just like the perfect size for her all around. I mean, like how wide it is, how long it is, how low it is. This bike is literally perfect for her all around, and I think that's great that Kawasaki really took that into consideration when making these bikes, because when they came out with the 650 class, those bikes, they sit so high up and they're still pretty beginner bikes. So a lot of shorter women and shorter men couldn't really buy those bikes and have a lot of fun with them because they just sat so high off the ground, just like the 600s do. And a lot of the stuff that is on this bike is the exact same as the 400. I mean, like, they kept a lot of stuff from the 400 and just switched it over to the 500, which is pretty impressive that they did that. And I really like that they did that because you can buy a lot of the 400 parts for this bike. And since they're so new, they came out in like January, I think. Since they're so new, it's so hard to find aftermarket parts for it, like a stunt cage or anything like that. Tail tighties, all that stuff, even lowering links. There was only like one person who made them, and that was Soupy's lowering links. But you can put the tail tighties on these for the 400s. You can put the windscreens on them for the 400s, I believe. The mirrors will work. All of the suspensions is the same for this bike. The whole suspension setup is pretty much the exact same on everything. It's got the same wheels. If you have big feet, your exhaust, there's a heat shield that goes over the exhaust that will actually touch the back of your foot if you're not careful enough. So that's something you definitely got to look out for. If you do get an aftermarket exhaust, you won't run into that issue because you have to have your foot like real far back to even touch it. But with the stock exhaust, I mean, that heat shield is like that far away from the back of your foot. The 400 exhausts for the Z400 and the Ninja 400 will all work on this bike. They will all work. It is 100% universal. It's the same inlet for the piping and everything. It has the same, what's it called? Like the way it bolts on, it's all the same. So if you do want to get an exhaust for your 500, get a Ninja 400 or a Z400 exhaust and it will bolt right up. So the thing about this bike, this is just the ABS. It's not the SE and it's not the KRT. If you're thinking about whether you want to get the ABS or non-ABS, if you're a new rider, I say go with the ABS. It's not going to hurt and it's only going to help. If you're very experienced and you know what you're doing and you even maybe want to do wheelies or something, do not get the ABS. It's not worth it. You're going to spend more money than you need to. Just get the regular model and don't get the ABS. But if you're new, I 100% recommend getting the ABS, because if it's slippery out or you need to slam on the brakes, your rear tire is not going to lock up. I can hit the rear brake right now. I'll slam it. Didn't lock up at all. The ABS is so perfect for any new rider that just wants to get into riding and might find themselves in a situation where they will hit the brakes too hard. And if you start to skid, you know, that can mean some pretty bad things for you. This road is so messed up, man. I hope it's no cops. So as far as the speed goes on this bike, it picks up pretty well, if I'm being honest with you. I'm very impressed with how quick this bike is. When we first picked up this bike, I was 100% confident that this thing was going to be like dog shit slow. It was actually pretty quick. I mean, I was very, very, very impressed with how quick this thing was. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's fast. It's definitely not as fast as a Ninja 650 or a Z650, but it's not slow. And it's right in the middle of just the Ninja 400 and the Ninja 650s. I think it's literally perfectly right in the middle, which makes it such a good beginner bike, because the Ninja 650s sit so high up and the Ninja 400s are so slow that it's kind of hard to pick between the two, because in a lot of cases, if you're getting a first bike, you're getting a bike to kind of maybe do a little bit of fun stuff on, pick it up a little bit, you know, do some pulls, whatever. And on a Ninja 400, you can't really do something like that. You can on a 650, but not on a 400. Like, this thing looks slammed. They got so much shit in the back. With the Ninja 650, you might run into some issues with the height and everything. The 500 is the perfect middle ground the 500 is the perfect middle ground between the Ninja 400 and the Ninja 650. I 100% believe that. A lot of times when people buy beginner bikes, man, they'll get an R3 or a Ninja 400 and they'll just sell it 2 months later because it's not enough for them. And in a lot of cases, you're losing so much money by doing that, where you could have just bought a quick bike to begin with, learned how to ride that, and then you would have been fine. But with this bike, you can get on it, learn how to ride it, and you'll be happy for a while until you're ready to upgrade to a 650 or a 600. So as far as highway riding goes, these things are not very good on the highway at all. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you guys. They are not fun on the highway. Once you get past about 80 miles per hour, it starts to get super doggish and it doesn't pick up as fast, and it's just kind of stays where it is. You know what I mean? Once you get on the highway, you're going to lose all your 600 friends. But if you're like, you know, if you're just in the city, you're around town, you're going to be able to keep up with everybody perfectly fine with no issue. The sound of this bike is so good. I don't know if you guys can hear it because the microphone kind of cuts out a lot of outside ambient sounds. But if you can't hear it, I'll put a clip in right now of kind of what it sounds like better. And it pops a lot too. This thing pops so much. You'd swear it has like a burble tune on it from the factory. I didn't want to go this way. I came out here to buy new batteries for my GoPro, and I went the wrong way. I wanted to go to the mall first so I can get a new backpack for riding, so that I could put the stuff that I buy in the backpack. The mall's over there, and Best Buy's over here, so I need to find a way to get over there. I also want to get Dunkin' too. Maybe I should hit the drive-thru. Nah, I'll probably just go in. Alright, let's see if we can do a quick U-turn right here. Yeah. I didn't take that as short as I wanted it to. So as far as comfortability goes on this bike, I would say this is one of the more comfortable bikes I've rode. I've had 2 stunt bikes, a track bike, a Z650, and this is probably the comfiest bike I have rode out of all of this. Oh my god. They're trying to kill me out here. I could ride this bike for 3 hours and I would be so comfortable. I mean, it's just, I don't even know how to describe it. Just the rider triangle is just perfect the way it is. You know, it's very similar to the 400. Actually, I think it's the exact same as the 400. The seat is very flat, so it kind of keeps you planted exactly where you're at. You know, the seat is one of the more impressive Kawasaki seats, because I remember my Z650, that seat sucked. You know, Kawasaki just doesn't make very good seats, but the suspension and the seating arrangements, you know, it's all very, very well put together. I'm very impressed by Kawasaki for this one. So I love how comfortable this bike is. I really do. This bike is so comfortable. I'm gonna keep my visor open so that maybe you guys can hear some exhaust. Oh, they're backing up. Are you gonna let me go? Alright, I'm gonna go get a backpack and then I'll be right back. And I got this backpack. It's a Lurking Class 1. This is exactly the one I was looking for. Where do we park? Oh, we're over here. Okay. It's a lot of walking. It's too much walking for me. Now we gotta go pick up some GoPro batteries. If anyone's wondering what my GoPro setup is, I'm actually going to make a separate video on that and everything that I have tied up to my whole GoPro setup. So if anyone's interested in the microphone and all that, I will make a separate video that's probably already uploaded. Holy shit! What are they doing to this road? Oh my god. It's all gravel. Wow, I'm glad I noticed that last second. Oh no. Hope I didn't scratch the tank. I didn't even mean to do that. We just got the new GoPro setup, charging and everything. Here's more of like my final thoughts on this bike. Honestly, I think it's a great starter bike for anyone wanting to get one. I think you're going to keep it for a while, and I really do think that this is something that you can have fun with, you can definitely learn on, and definitely has the power to do everything you want it to do. I didn't strap my helmet, but I am just going right down the road here, so should be fine. Just all in all, everything considered, everything that goes into it, I think this is probably one of the best starter bikes, because this is something you can just kind of keep for a while, and they're pretty relatively cheap. I mean, we got this for $6-7 out the door. Look at this dude, he is off the fucking, oh my god. Look at this dude's parking, man. I guess I'm getting food at home because the inside of Dunkin' is closed. I think you can definitely hop on one of these as a new rider and just learn how to ride, and then once you get comfortable enough to ride it, you might not even want to upgrade. I mean, they have power. I don't really want to speed because it's Mother's Day and there's going to be a ton of cops out. Please don't do it. From a full tank, you get like 120 miles, 150 miles. It really kind of depends on what your miles per gallon are, how you ride and everything. I've seen it fill up and go up to like 150. Sometimes it's 120. I'm at 100 miles right now, but I also just drove 20 minutes out of the way. Since I filled up. You can definitely have a lot of fun on these bikes for sure. I mean, I love this bike, and it's not even mine. I do really enjoy riding this thing, especially as an experienced rider, someone who wouldn't ever think to buy a Ninja 500. If I was given this bike as an option, you know, I would definitely consider it. I'd probably obviously buy a 600 over this bike, but it's definitely up there as far as beginner bikes goes. So this probably is the beginner bike. Other than the Ninja 650, this is probably a hard second place because no other manufacturers make good beginner bikes like these. I mean, you got KTM, they make the 390s, but other than that, like, this is, Kawasaki's the only other brand that makes a good beginner bike, other than the GSXR 250s and the Yamaha R3s. You know, those are good beginner bikes, but they're definitely not something you're going to keep for a while, is what I'm trying to say. I think if you had to pick between 3 beginner bikes, this would be top 3. And it just handles so well. I mean, this bike, it'll do whatever you make it do, and more. You know, it doesn't get away from me. It doesn't have a mind of its own. You know, it's very cut and dry, and it does exactly what you want it to do. And there's a lot of room to make errors on these bikes, for sure. When my battery died, I had to pull over. This bike, it's on the max stiffness that it can be, so even with that, it is still so smooth. I mean, you could still hit potholes with it, and it'll keep itself straight. Look. It keeps itself perfectly straight, and there's not even a stabilizer on it. The bike is so well balanced. Now we can do a wheelie. What am I gonna do for food? Oh, Dairy Queen. Look how tight this turning radius is on this bike. I'm so used to bikes revving a little bit Higher, I don't know why. I bang limiter immediately on that one. Yeah, we're definitely gonna go through the drive-thru on this one. I almost got hit by that car, and I also almost hit that family. Usually when I come through here, I get the New York Royal Cheesecake. So when I get up to the window, I'm gonna be like, can I get a Royal New York Cheesecake, a medium? These things weigh like, I think they weigh like 430 pounds, 330 pounds. I think it's 430 pounds. I'm gonna put whatever it is on the screen though. Pretty good bike. I'm happy with it. Man, it pops so much. It pops so much. Thank you guys for watching. I'm definitely going to be doing more moto vlogs in the future. Me and Lexi, we're going to be riding together when I buy a new bike, since I just sold mine. She wants an Insta360, so I'm thinking that's what I'm going to buy for her next. She wants to start making content for her TikTok. I'll leave her TikTok and my TikTok handle in the description if you want to go check them out. I make a lot of videos as well as she does too. I never really dipped into YouTube, and this is definitely something I've been wanting to do, so I'll rev it for you guys.